let's talk about strings as reference types. So let's say we just create a string here, just one simple string, just like that, and then we want to create another string and assign that first string to our string. Well, it appears like it's working like a value type, because after we change it, that second string to something else, it's going to have a new value, as we can see here. S is equal to hello there, S2, hello there again, but then we change it to say goodbye. Well, how does that work? If this is a reference type, then it should point to the same memory location where that data is, and we should actually be changing the first string as well. Strings are reference types, but they actually work like the value types. Now what happens is when you create a string, and then you try to change that string, what you're doing is you're creating another copy of that string. A new string is going to be created for this variable to point to. So this means that strings are actually immutable, as you can see here. They can't be changed. So they're recreated. That's how they work. So that's something you need to take into consideration when you're working with strings. Not a big deal for the most part. We'll get into a lot of more advanced ways of working with strings and a lot of great ways of working with strings, but you just have to keep that in mind that they are working as reference types. They are reference types, but they work a little bit more like your value types because things are getting created behind the scenes and it looks and appears as if they're doing something else. Now strings for the most part can be difficult to understand if you're working or coming from C and C++, dealing with pointers and things like that. And that really is a drawback to working with strings. It's something that pulls you back. Also, all the types that are created based on these primitive types, and then you get all these additional types based on the library that you're using, that could get a whole lot confusing as well. Luckily, the .NET Framework has a great way of working with strings, and C# takes advantage of that to make things really, really easy. In the past, when you worked with other types of languages or libraries or methodologies of working and programming, the strings themselves were really, really a pain in the neck to actually get to work the way you want it to. So this is a pretty straightforward way of working with strings, as we're going to see as we move forward.